Guys, you see the title of today's video. We're actually going to be breaking down whether or not you actually need to be an expert in order to start a consulting/coaching business in 2022 or whenever you're actually watching this, whenever that might be. So let's actually break this down. But before I do that and actually get into this video, all I ask in return for these free videos, guys, these are completely free. I don't get paid by YouTube or anything like that. I don't have monetization turned on my YouTube channel at the time of recording this, maybe in the future, but I've never actually received a single penny from YouTube in the last 4 years. I'm literally not even joking. So all I ask for in return is you drop a like, comment, subscribe, and turn on notification bells. It really does help me with the algorithm. It really does help me, first of all, determine whether you'll even like these videos. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button just real quick. Smash the like button as they say. So do you need to be an expert in order to start a consulting business or a coaching business for that matter? And to be honest with you guys, you genuinely don't need to be an expert. Now that sounds weird because I know what you guys are probably thinking. Well, how can I provide a service or charge somebody, $2,500, $2,000 for my particular services, which is, by the way, the kind of range I actually recommend you start out at. If you're just a beginner, maybe $1,500, but then you're probably going to do a disservice to charge that low. But long story short, if you're actually in that particular, in that mindset, if you will, you're never going to start anything new. That's the thing. You're never actually going to start anything new because you're always going to be scared in order to make mistakes. And what I'm trying to do with this video is just make you guys understand that it's okay to make mistakes. In fact, a lot of things that we have right now in our life that we take for granted, for example, like this camera, for example, just the science behind that, or just science in general, medical care, a lot of it was actually discovered by a lot of failure. So scientists, as you guys know in school, you have to set a hypothesis when you actually go out to do an experiment. If your hypothesis for example, a hypothesis is, if I do this, I should expect this result, or if this happens, will this happen? That's kind of like a hypothesis. You're actually trying to project out into the future and see what's going to happen when two things collide, if you will. You've got two inputs, they come together, they collide, and they produce some sort of reaction, if you will, equal and opposite reaction, if you will. Not to get too kind of like scientific into this, but hopefully you guys know what I'm trying to say, basically. So long story short, when you actually set this hypothesis, you are saying that if this happens, this should happen. If the thing that you want to happen doesn't happen, that's obviously, you could technically class that as a failure, but that's also feedback. So if you're starting a business, right, and a consulting business, and you're actually trying to help people with binge eating, and you have basically looked into binge eating, you've studied, you actually gained the knowledge, you followed the greats of the greats, but you haven't done it yourself, that's still okay to go and offer that service. The reason for that is because when you're new at something, you're not going to have experience under your belt. It's almost like a catch-22. Which one came first, the chicken or the egg? Do you have to do it yourself first, or do you have to go and get somebody and help them actually do it first before you can then start charging for it? Even if you have to work for free, which I really don't recommend doing because better ways to do this, go and do that instead. So what I mean by that is, if you're trying to really help people with binge eating and you actually have some frameworks that actually genuinely work from the best of the best in the industry, and you've actually gone and bought their programs and you've learned from the best of the best, you 100% have that information to actually help somebody. In fact, you genuinely should help somebody, because binge eating is a very dangerous thing you can actually get into. That can really have an effect on somebody's life. They can have, they can develop, frigging heart disease, cancer, obesity, high blood pressure. They could literally end up dead. That can obviously have a very painful knock-on effect to their family. So if you have that skill of helping people with binge eating, I think it's actually in your right and in your will. It's actually your destiny, if you will, to actually help that particular person or people, if you will, with binge eating. You shouldn't, put your own, I'm not an expert into the equation, if you will. Because if you genuinely know how to help people, and you've actually got this information, and you've actually acquired this information, you can then go on and pass that information on, if you will. And I know that it's actually going to sound a little bit weird, and it might feel a little bit weird, because you might have what you call imposter syndrome, where it's almost like, because you haven't done it yet yourself before, you're not actually too sure whether or not you should obviously offer it, or if it's ethical. And I'm here to tell you that that's like expecting to ride a bike and be perfect when you first ride a bike. You're gonna have failures, things are gonna mess up, and I'm here to say that, dudes, you're okay, you can make mistakes. Business is about learning from your mistakes. So if you have never ever helped anybody with a binge eating addiction before, go and learn everything you can about it, create your own frameworks, and then offer that to somebody as a hypothesis. Your hypothesis is, if I take somebody through my 4-week program on binge eating, or a 6-week program, or whatever it is, I reckon I can help them stop with their binge eating. In fact, I genuinely think you actually have the right in order to do that, because you don't know what you don't know yet. And what I mean by that is you could genuinely go on to change that person's particular life, which, for example, like me, I've genuinely done with many of my students, stuff like that. I have like over 100 and something screenshots of just like results back to back to back to back. If you want to see those, just go to my Instagram and go on like my highlights section. Like my Instagram, by the way, is at montel.gordon. You can literally see that. But you have the right in order to actually offer that particular service, because you can actually genuinely change somebody's life. So that should be your hypothesis. And if you fail, by the way, it's okay. Just give them a refund. This is the key. This is what's gonna stop you with that imposter syndrome. It's actually going to kill the imposter syndrome for you right now. If you fail, for example, if you are offering a service to somebody where you're trying to help them, remove some sort of binge eating addict or whatever your service is, there's multiple different services you can obviously offer in a coaching business. And if you genuinely fail, forget about it. It's cool. It's okay to fail. Just go and give them a refund. Everything's good after that. If it doesn't work, all you've done is learn, basically. There's no real failure. It's all about learning. And then what's going to happen is you're going to learn from them, that particular client. And that's when you're going to get better and better and better and better. In terms of, you're going to go to that first client, you're going to set your hypothesis and try establish what you call your proof of concept. Your proof of concept is that you now know how to do it. And obviously, if you don't get that the first time round, you're going to ask that particular client, what do you think it is that I did wrong in order that basically failed you, if you will? What do you reckon we could have done better? And then what you do is you actually know all of this down, and that's how you actually create businesses, guys. This is how businesses are created. This is how everything is created. It's how you learn to walk. It's how you learn to ride a bike. It's how you learn how to drive a car. You get in a car, you fail. Hopefully you don't crash too crazily. Well, obviously you're doing it in a almost like a testing environment, which is why driving lessons are very important. And this is what I'm trying to get across here. You're actually going to test drive your services, if you will, with that first particular client with a guarantee. So you can actually offer a full money back guarantee if they don't eliminate their binge eating addiction in 4 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever your program particularly is. And if you fail, it's completely okay. Now, the second point I want to make is that even if you haven't done it yourself, you just need to be one step ahead of the person that you're helping, because they genuinely will vouch for that. It'll actually be more of an enjoyable experience. And here's what I mean by that. Let's say you're trying to go from 0 to 10K with an agency, for example. Just kind of like off the top of my head, because obviously it's quite close to me and I help people with this. If they go to a guru, right, that's already making 500K a month from their agency, that's going to be that gap in between where they're at and their mentors at, or the person that they're working with that's helping them scale their agency. It's going to be too far, if you will. The gap's just too far. It doesn't feel realistic. It's not going to help the person, if you will. I mean, it might do, depending on the type of person, if they're used to those sorts of big figures. But at that particular point, they don't really have that relatability. It's not relatable enough to them. But if you're helping somebody go from 0 to 10K and you've actually completed that 10K per month mark, and you genuinely are, the best way to actually go from 0 to 10K, because you obviously have just recently done it, and you can just show them what works right here, right now, in today's day and age, if you will, like today, like what's working like right now, what's relevant right now, and the information, you've got that information and you've actually done it yourself, then you can obviously just go and help them with that. Or if you're just helping somebody make an extra 3K per month online with that particular agency, and you're only at like 5K, for example, you can genuinely help somebody genuinely do that. And the reason for that is because, think about it, when you was broke, let's pretend you're broke right now, or even just let me ask you this: would you want an extra 3K per month from your business right now, like 3K per month net profit from anything right now? Nobody's gonna turn that down. You'd have to be insane to turn that down. Literally 3K per month coming in every single month from some sort of online business where you get to be your own boss. I'm pretty sure if I offered you 3K per month right now, you'd be like, yeah, I'm definitely taking that. Well, if you have that knowledge on how to actually scale your agency to 5K, you've surpassed that. So you're actually one step ahead of somebody already. So guys, I think we all need to kind of like calm down a little bit with all this, like, oh, is it a scam if I offer a service that I haven't yet provided or don't know how to provide? Now, obviously there are scams out there that are just selling information that's just wishy-washy, but in order to actually become good at something, you have to start somewhere, guys. It's like a catch-22. And the way how you start somewhere is obviously you learn, you read everything about read everything about their pain problems, understand what the solutions are from reading books, podcasts, just soaking up as much information as you possibly can, and then establishing proof of concept. You can either do this on yourself by either taking yourself from binge eating addict to a non-binge eating addict, or you can just use hypothetical theories. I'm not even joking. Some of the best online coaches right now that you guys all look up to started off as hypothetical coaches, where they said to themselves, okay, cool, if I want to help people with this particular problem, The only problem is now is that I don't have the information in order to do that. What can I do? Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and learn everything I can about this particular thing, even though I've not done it myself. I'm going to soak up that information. I'm going to create my own frameworks around this to see what's genuinely worked and see what the actual, between each guru that I learn from, what are the commonalities? What is it that genuinely seems to be moving the needle for these people? I'm just going to take those and leave out all the other stuff and come up with my own frameworks and concepts. Then what you do is, what they probably did was, or what they actually did, to be honest with you, is that they went and offered that to people as a hypothesis. So they started reaching out to people. They started creating content around this to build up authority and stuff like that. And they eventually, land their first client. What they would do is they would offer them a full money back guarantee. And what they would do is just literally have that particular, the first customers is like your beta customers, if you will, almost like you're testing with them. Now, this kind of sounds like a little bit weird, but all they do is, these gurus, if you will, is they just test to see what genuinely works. If it doesn't work, they just give a full money back refund. That's all it is. It's not this huge issue. And as soon as you kind of like offer a full money back refund, it's like all the pressure's taken off of you to perform now. So it's like you can actually, be clear headed, which is why I really like, the full money back guarantee, which is why I do offer full money back guarantee on my one-to-one programs as well. So if you want any help with this, the link is below. So do you need to be an expert to start coaching or consulting business? The answer, honestly, guys, is no. You just need to be one step ahead of somebody to actually help them. If you're one step ahead of somebody, I genuinely think it's your actual right, if you will, to actually go back, to turn back and actually give a helping hand up, to reach back, as they say, and actually help somebody up to your level as well. There's too much wealth in this particular world for you to be thinking scarce like that, whether or not you're an expert or not. And honestly, guys, what even is an expert anyway? Like, there is nobody that physically comes, there's no entity or governing body, if you will, that comes around to your particular apartment or wherever you live, or your business or your office or anything like that. There's no particular entity that's going to come and give you a certificate that says, hey, Montel, you're now an expert. You can now charge $2,000 for this. So here you go. Here's your certificate. There is no governing body that basically does that. You actually have to start somewhere. And actually just get a start, guys, is what I'm trying to say. Honestly, just get a start, put that beside you. And even if you have to, you can even partner with experts. If you're really, 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 uncomfortable doing this by yourself, then what you can do is actually partner with other experts and just split the actual fee 50-50. So for example, if you're trying to help people who are, struggling with binge eating, you can actually partner up with proper nutritionists, people who are obviously into binge eating, helping people with binge eating and stuff like that. You can go and find experts online, expert nutritionists, and what you can do is you can pay them, if you will. You can actually go and hire a nutritionist right now. For example, just go on to like upwork.com and literally say, I'm looking for a nutritionist. Can you help me with a program that I'm trying to create? You can sit down with that particular person, brainstorm, and come up with an actual program, if you will, that's actually designed to help people with binge eating. And now you're actually leveraging other people's knowledge at that particular point, which is something that like Ty Lopez does all the time. When he kind of creates programs, you'll notice that he actually has a lot of other people in his programs and he leverages their knowledge. The guy's an absolute genius. I don't know why people actually call him a scam. I mean, a lot of people probably would. I mean, a lot of people obviously might not have liked his program, but a lot of people have actually made a lot of money out of his programs, if you will, and changed their lives. I know for a fact I particularly have. Even if he just pointed me in the right direction in terms of like starting an SMA, like literally. I remember that a lot of people, even on this particular channel, have probably first heard about SMA from Ty Lopez and stuff like that. But anyway, guys, hopefully you guys can see that honestly, you don't need to be an expert at anything to actually start it out. Like, you're not supposed to be an expert at anything, and that's okay. This is what I'm trying to say. It's okay, guys. With that being said though, guys, I hope that this is, at least inspired somebody to take action. And if you do want to take action and you do want my help and you want to shortcut that path to scaling your consulting or coaching business, go to the link below, because I'm actually helping people with that particular field. If you're an agency owner as well, if you want my help, agency traumatization is still 50% off at $497 USD. I don't know when the price is going to be increasing, but I'm building the modules out, so the price will be increasing to $1,000 very, very soon. And that being said as well, guys, if you are an agency and you want my one-to-one help, so there's two things I do. Agency, if you want my one-to-one help, that's kind of like the coaching, if you want. I can help both agency owners and consulting and coaching businesses. And there's agency traumatization, which is designed for agency owners only, basically. Take your pick. The links are below, and I'll let you guys to decide on what you guys, and I'll make it abundantly clear which one you should join and stuff like that. Anyway, guys, hope you're doing well, staying safe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.